Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners meeting for May 27th. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, first thing we have on our agenda are our minutes. Gentlemen, do we have any additions, corrections?
I do not.
No.
Okay.
Good. I move to approve the proceedings of the Board of County Commissioners for Montezuma County for Tuesday, May 13th, 2025 as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County, May 13th, 2025. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next up is planning. Do we have the applicants? All right, this being the time set aside for a public hearing for a proposed 10-lot, single-lot subdivision. Would you call the roll, please, Kim?
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
Commissioner Lindsey.
Here.
Commissioner Copenhagen.
Here.
Administrator Anderson.
Here.
Attorney Jaskowski.
Here.
And Kim Purcell, Montezuma County Clerk and Recorder. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for review and determination of a proposed 10-acre single-lot development and AR 10-34 rezoning application submitted by Douglas Family Trust, Agent Lori Tuntland, on property located at 10900 Road 20, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 160 acres, more or less, located east of Road 20, south of Road M, situated in Section 24, Township 36 North, Range 17 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, May 27, 2025, at 9 a.m. in the Commissioners' hearing room. Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons intending to input information may be obtained from the Planning Office online services at https://montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com public home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated this 24th day of April, 2025, Kim Purcell Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado. Published in the Journal on Wednesday, May 14th, 2025.
All right, thank you, Kim. Okay, Don, would you give us an overview on this, please?
Sure. Good morning. Ms. Tuntland, representing her family trust, is proposing a 10-acre single-lot development at the southwest corner of their parcel. They are looking to sell that to the Mustangs. Yeah. They're donating it to the Mustang Rescue Group. It's just a single lot development. Access is off of Road 20. Water is available if they want to put in a water tap for the property. That's basically it.
All the utilities are available. Obviously, there's a house right across the street from it. So
Correct.
everything is there from what I can see. All right. Questions, gentlemen?
No.
Questions? Would you like to add anything? No? Okay. Gosh, all right, well. We'll, this might be short work of this one then. All right, well then, at this time, I will open this up to public comment. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this application, please come forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments, and you may address the board at this time. I see them stacking up against the wall, so. All right, seeing no public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this application and bring it back for questions to the commissioners. Gentlemen.
I have nothing further, Gerald.
I don't have any.
Planning and zoning?
They were
Recommendation?
unanimous to recommend it for approval. No conditions.
Okay, meets all the requirements of the code?
Yes.
All right.
Let's make this easy.
Okay,
I would so move we accept the proposed 10-acre single lot development and AR 10 through 34 rezoning application submitted by Douglas Family Trust, agent Lori Tuntland. Okay. On property located at 10900 Road 20, Cortez, Colorado.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the proposed 10-acre single-lot development and AR 10 through 34 rezoning applications submitted by the Douglas Family Trust, agent Lori Tuntland, on property located at 10900 Road 20, Cortez, Colorado. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. You are approved. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Have a great day. And with that, I will close this public hearing, Kim. All right, I have time before I have like
Yeah,
5
we-
minutes.
We have a Mylar that
Okay,
needs signed.
we'll roll it out.
All right, we'll do it.
I was gonna give you an opportunity to go first, Kelly, but then I realized that that's probably gonna take some time. So I just about got all my water in, and that ditch must be leaking, and there was a freaking mountain of water came down. Steve, good thing I had that excavator still sitting out there.
Oh, yeah.
He went and just dug a hole to try and contain it, and then we'll just backfill it when it dries out. His water running like a steady flow,
Out of
like,
the ditch or what's the?
while it was seeping through the ground
Oh,
and then coming back. It was not, it's gotta be coming from the ditch.
yeah.
Because it's going on
Yeah.
from the ditch drain. I was like, holy cow.
Well, that's the thing, you know, when we had those guys study those ditches, most of them are losing about 30% of the water out of the goddamn ditch.
You should have saw it. I'll show you the video that he
Oh,
saw.
I know. It's crazy.
All right.
It's crazy.
Need another minute to kill?
Well, what have you got for us? Well, actually, I need 2 more minutes to kill.
Just an update. We have been in communication with Leaf Properties, and they have selected June 24th for their follow-up public hearing. We've transmitted the documents to them for review. So we will be getting that confirmed and scheduled on your agenda.
Okay. Very good. You want to add anything to that at this point in time, or?
Not at this point in time, no. Thanks for the update.
Okay. Travis, you just will go over your financials if you want to right now. Or do you have any, or are these all just social services?
No, I have some financials I can go over.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get those done and knocked out of the way.
So, financials for March, general fund total $985,184.65. Road and bridge, $449,902.47. Public health, $138,579.40. Capital fund total, $82,979.96. Administration fund, $286,668.33. Landfill fund, $113,144.57. Senior transport fund total, $46,290.96. Total check register, $2,102,750.34. Social services total, $1,432,238.67, with a total of $3,534,989.01.
All right, sounds good. You guys have any questions on those?
No.
Had the opportunity to review? Okay.
Yeah. I would so move we approve the March financials in the amount of $3,534,989.01.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the March 2025 payables for Montezuma County in the amount of $3,534,989.01. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, it is 9:10 now, so do we have the applicant for the next? All right, well, this being the time set aside for a public hearing, submitted by Jay and Karina, by Troy Jaskowski? Close enough? Would you call the roll, please, Kim?
Commissioner Candelaria.
Here.
Commissioner Lindsey.
Here.
Commissioner Copenhaver.
Here.
Administrator Anderson.
Here.
Attorney Tarnowski.
Here.
And Kim Purcell, County Clerk. This public hearing is continued from May 13, 2025 at 9 a.m. Notice is hereby given that the Montezuma County Board of County Commissioners will hold a public hearing for a review and determination of a proposed four-lot moderate subdivision in AR 3-9 and AR 10-34 rezoning application submitted by Troy Jaskowski on property located at 3261 Road H, Cortez, Colorado, consisting of 38.80 acres more or less, located south of Highway 160, east of Road 27, situated in Section 34, Township 36 North, Range 15 West, N.M.P.M. The hearing will be held Tuesday, May 27, 2025 at 9:10 a.m. in the Commissioners' Hearing Room, Montezuma County Administrative Offices, 109 West Main, Cortez, Colorado. Interested persons may attend and give input. Information may be obtained from the Planning Office online service at https://co-montezuma-co.smartgovcommunity.com public home. You may also contact the Planning Department at 970-565-2801 with questions. Dated this 13th day of May, 2025, Kim Purcell, Clerk, Board of County Commissioners, Montezuma County, Colorado. First published in the Journal on Wednesday, April 30th, 2025.
All right, thank you, Kim. Okay, Don, overview on this one, please.
Sure. So Mr. Jaskowski is looking to subdivide his 40 acres into 4 parcels. The permitted PUD is will stay on what would be the 20-acre parcel, the west half, then also creating 13 acres at the northeast corner and 2 3.5-acre parcels at the southeast corner. Access for the 13 acres would be a 60-foot easement on the east property line from Road H north to that lot. Nothing's being planned or changed with the PUD at this time, so it would just remain on the same legal description that it's already permitted under.
Okay. Would you like to add anything, sir?
The surveyors have been out, and it actually, by the time you took out the easement, those parcels are about 3.2 acres, not 3.5.
Okay. Questions, gentlemen?
Not right now.
I don't have any right now.
Okay. I guess the only thing that I would have is the road, because we approved a subdivision not too long ago, and that road was, I know that we put some stipulations on that road because it wasn't anywhere up to speed, and as we keep adding to that road, and I think originally when we approved this PUD, I'm not sure if it was you specifically, but that road was supposed to be upgraded. Was that a conversation at all?
That has been a request from the owners of the subdivision, is for contribution of road maintenance, and that was also a condition of P&Z's motion, was to include road maintenance assistance for that section of road from the end of County Road H to their property.
Okay, so you guys remember that subdivision
Yeah.
that we approved down there that we actually had to make them put in that road?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
Do you have any issues with that at this point in time?
No,
or-
Rachel Kaminsky, she was at the planning and zoning, and she requested that anybody who builds or purchases those lots along the road would contribute to road maintenance, as everyone is
So-
in their subdivision too. They would take a portion of road maintenance.
Stephen, I guess I have a question.
Sure.
So, where this is a red sign road, and it goes across other people's property before it gets to these, legally, does he have a right to expand his use without permission of those people that is crossing before it gets to him?
I think it could be a complicated question to answer with a straight answer. But I don't know
It's a
that,
concern that was raised to me by some individuals, because in the past, we had some issues with that sort of thing, and we always made sure that they had permission from those other people that that road crossed their property before they got to theirs, to expand their use, because as I understood the law was, you cannot expand that use without those permission of those people.
I think that may be the case in some circumstances. Has there been any discussion about that issue?
So when there was 8 lots created in 79 with this 60-foot dedicated access utility easement, so it's specific to the creation of
Talking about him,
the 8 parcels.
before you even get to this one.
So the way I understand that, there's no real ownership of that easement,
You see what I'm saying?
other than
That's
how
what
it's
I'm-
conveyed for each of those
That's what's
40-acre
brought up, I think.
parcels.
And I can tell you the reason it got brought up.
But that's why it's a private road. The county did not extend their road to that area.
So at this point in time, this is a dedicated easement.
That's what I'm being told.
Okay.
Yeah.
And-
If that's a specific concern that the board wants more information about, I would make the recommendation that we continue this hearing so that I can look into the specifics of this road, and the specifics of the easement. I just don't know what that is at this point.
Okay. Well, I think we can go through the public hearing, and if we have to continue it, we don't have to make a decision today. We can get through this portion of it and then continue to go if we're not comfortable.
Yeah.
Determined for the
Continue.
subdivision? Did that ever come
I
up?
mean, I think it'd be best,
Subdivision?
because these people are really concerned about some other, not specifically about his development, but some other things that are possibly going on down there.
Okay, well, at this point in time, I will open this application up for public comment. Anybody wishing to speak for or against the application, come forward to the podium, state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments, and you may address the board at this time. Okay, seeing no public comment, I'll close the public comment session of this application and bring it back to the board. So it sounds like we should probably continue this a week. Stephen, does that give you enough time to do what you need to do, or does it need to be longer? or
So
what?
I don't believe we have a meeting next week. Is that true? Are we here next Tuesday?
Correct.
that's-
There is not a meeting on the 3rd.
So we'd be looking at about 2 weeks,
2 weeks.
Yeah.
which should be plenty of time. And I would just make the record that this goes to the question about whether public utilities and services are available, which is one of the criteria that the board is being asked to evaluate, that I will look into to try to give the board a better overview of how that relates to the code.
Not yet.
So a time work better for you all in 2 weeks? Is that?
Mr.
I-
Jaskowski has a question.
I've got a question. This never came up for the subdivision that was recently approved. So I'm just wondering why it's coming up now.
Access to the road?
Yeah,
Or,
along that private easement.
I can't speak to
It's-
that.
It's coming up now because of a citizen's concern about the use of that road and whether the legality of even us approving that other subdivision,
Oh.
whether that was actually, that was brought up to me. And I hadn't had time to talk to Stephen about this before, just because it was just brought up recently. Over the weekend, as a matter of fact, so.
we're just making sure that it is a dedicated right-of-way and/or easement, which I assume either and/or would be permissible, but we do need time to check on that just to make sure.
Okay.
So,
Jane's going to grab the book and make sure we don't have anything else.
okay,
Okay.
First thing on the 10th, I don't believe we do.
because it would be, yeah.
Yeah, we can schedule it June 10th at 9 a.m.
9 o'clock, okay. All right, there you go.
So the board would need to make a motion to continue
We're going
the
to.
hearing.
I make a motion to continue this public hearing till what day is that?
6:10.
June the 10th, 2025,
At 9 a.m.
at 9 a.m.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to continue this public hearing for the proposed four-lot moderate subdivision and AR 3 through 9 and AR 10 through 34 rezoning applications submitted by Troy Jaskowski on property located at 30261 Road H until June 10th, 2025 at 9 a.m. Is there any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, sir, we'll see you in a couple weeks.
All right,
All right,
thanks.
thank you. And I will not close this hearing. I will leave this open. All right. Anything else?
That's all we have on our agenda.
Okay,
And I can email that document to Stephen
Okay.
okay.
from the originating subdivision.
Going forward, we need to probably clarify that.
Yeah. I'll send that to Travis and Stephen, and then they can administrate from there.
Thank you.
Okay?
All right.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, next we'll go into the public comment session of this meeting. The Board of Montezuma County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. Person speaking during public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all the members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments. And comments to individual supervisors or staff are not permitted, and participants may not yield their time to others. And with that, the public comment session is open. All right, seeing no public comment, we will close the public comment session of this meeting, and we will move right straight down to social services. Come on down, Kelly. I do. But I'll let you move it forward.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
All right, I would so move that we approve the Board of County Commissioners meeting on social services. The session was Tuesday, April 29th, 2025. And the motion is to approve the minutes and also the financials in the amount of $1,356,328.31.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the record of proceeding for the Montezuma County Social Services for April 29, 2025, and also the payables for April 2025 in the amount of $1,356,328.31. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
So a couple just general updates. I wanted to let you know that MoCo, we were finally approved for our revalidation for Medicaid. Success. So that's exciting. In the world of the rest of social services, I traveled to the Children and Family Youth Convening the last week of April. That's why I wasn't here. Lots of good information. We'll see how legislatures close out their session and see what's coming down that pike soon. It's core contract and TANF season. So lots of contracts with providers being updated. So we've been busy there. All of our TANF contracts, I made the decision to cut by 11% in December. So all of our providers are aware of that, given all of the new financial requirements coming out of our TANF line item. Want to make sure we have enough there. I will get on the next planning meeting to review a variety of policies and for the Department of Social Services so that they're approved by the BOCC. I have lots of those. But that's it, besides celebrating our Distinguished Performers Award.
All right.
Unless you have questions for me?
I have none.
I don't have anything.
We're ready.
All right, so super exciting. Montezuma County was a distinguished performer for 2024. So that's January to December of 2024. It always takes time to get all the statistics in. But I felt like this was a good opportunity to review what we did last year with you all and celebrate all of the hard work of the team. The Distinguished Performer Award is really aimed at recognizing and honoring counties that excel in meeting critical, and I don't know if you want to flip, yes. Yes? Critical performance goals, specifically in the areas of timeliness, safety, and accuracy. This really is a benchmark and a testament to the commitment of everybody here at Montezuma County Social Services, doing a lot of hard work timely. So we'll go through each division and the specific statistic that was met, and we'll talk a little bit about those. So the first one is Adult Protection Services. So APS is investigating allegations of physical and sexual abuse, caretaker neglect, exploitation, harmful acts, and self-neglect of at-risk adults. Our APS team provides protective services to improve health, safety, wellness. Most often that's connecting them with community services that already exist, with the intention of being able to retain their rights to confidentiality, to self-determination, and the least restrictive environment. So for adult protection, the specific goal was monthly or timely contacts with everybody referred. And so last year, the goal is 95. Our county hit it at 99%. Hitting those 248 contacts were required. We hit 245 of them timely. The minimum is seeing those clients a minimum of every 30 days throughout the investigation, assessment, and provision of services. They stay really busy. Last year we had 163 adult protection referrals. Of those, we opened 76. We carried the biggest caseload of that 90 open cases throughout last year. We maintained 3 guardianships, and we closed 73 cases. So APS was really busy last year. It's a team of 3 led by Crystal Hollingshead. Next, we have Child Protection Services, Child Welfare, CPS. It's a specialized set of services that are really designed to strengthen families and children, keeping kids at home when it's safe, and when it's not safe and we can't keep kids home, getting them home or finding them permanency as soon as we possibly can. In 2024, the 4 CSTAT measures that the state measures are here, the safety assessments prior to reunification. Our goal is to hit 25%. We hit that at 33%. Timeliness to initial response, the goal is 84.3. We hit it at 85.5. And this was 339 children that had to be contacted timely. And so it's a really big deal because sometimes you can't find kids. We have an immediate, a 3-day, and a 5-day response. So we have specific timeframes in which we need to go out and see kids. And sometimes it's really challenging to get out there and find them. But we met that. Then we have family engagement meetings at the time of reunification. So anytime kids are returning home, we want to meet with those families and all those interested parties and make sure it's going to go well. The state says we had to be at 66. We were at 66.7. And then the last CSTAT measure for CPS is father engagement. Lots of research has indicated the more engaged fathers are, the better off children are. The state goal is 35, and Montezuma County hit that at 43.4. Of note in child welfare, last year, we had 577 referrals called in to the hotline or local office. Of those, we screened in 259, so those were all opened as assessments. Of that, only 30 were confirmed with abuse or neglect, and that made our child abuse and neglect rate last year 9%. Which is really fantastic. 2 or 3 years ago, it was at about 22%. So that's excellent. Over the course of last year, we had 38 children in out-of-home placements. Our out-of-home placement rate is much lower than the state's at about 2.4 versus the state at 3.1. We reunified 21 children with their family of origin. And we have to see kids every month, no matter where they're at or what they're doing, even when they're on the run. And so last year we hit that mark at 97%, which is also really incredible work. Next up, we have child support services and fraud. As you know, child support services is designed to collect monies to financially support children and youth with their custodial parent or caretaker. It also establishes insurance orders and modifications. So doing lots of work there. And then our fraud unit is encompassed within child support services, and our fraud unit investigates and addresses fraud, waste, and abuse. In child support services, last year, the state measured disbursements on hold. This means how many payments are we getting and how quickly are they going out the door. And so those disbursements are on hold are payments that we don't have the other party's place to put it. And so we want to make that really low. The target is under 4.2%. We achieved that at 2.1% last year. Timeliness of case initiation, cases have to be opened within 20 days. We also achieved that. The target was 80. The department hit it at 92%. And the last one was timeliness of review and adjustment, judicial, so that's through the court process. And that's the opportunity to review and adjust a child support order. Things change, employment changes, and that's a service that this department provides. We also hit that at 100%, which is really incredible work. Over the year, our department, as you can see, collected $1.2 million in child support for Montezuma County, which is really awesome. We will hope to continue to see that rise. And we carried a total caseload at the highest of 561 cases in child support services. In fraud, we had referrals can come from anywhere, but typically they come from within the department. So our staff are identifying areas where they're like, this seems a little off, let's make a referral. We had 144 referrals. Of those, we opened 53. We had 33 IPVs, which is an intentional program violation. And that means that that party either said, yes, I did it, I'm going to sign this paper, or went to an administrative judge hearing and the judge said, I'm going to make these findings. We had 58 unfounded. And over the course of last year, we recouped $187,000, more than $187,000. And the child support and fraud team is a team of 4 led by Erwin Lobato. And I should have mentioned in child welfare, that is a team of 13 led by Chris Veach and Brenda Jarman. The last division that is monitored with those CSTAT scores is our economic security team. And this encompasses a variety of programs really designed to help people out of poverty and retain independence. This includes our Colorado Works, our Adult Financial, our Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, and our Health First Colorado program. There's a lot more measures within economic security, and these are all about timeliness. Are we doing what we say we're going to do in the time frame that we have? So the timeliness of a new adult financial apps, the goal was 95. We hit that at 99%. Timeliness of Colorado Works apps, the goal was 95. We hit that at 100%. And you can see that measurement. This is how many we hit, like the 275 and 275. Yeah, you guys see that. The timeliness of adult financial redeterminations, we were off by 3, and so we missed that by 1%. Bummer, but that's okay. The goal was 95, and we hit it at 94. Timeliness of redeterminations for Colorado Works, the goal was 95. We hit that at 98. SNAP application processing time. This was a new statistic. It was on hold due to the pandemic, so it was only measured the last 6 months of the year. But of that 6 months, the goal was 95%. We were a little off and hit it by 94. That 277 should be a 577, so we hit 542 timely. SNAP applications have to be processed within 7 to 30 days. Expedite's going to be that 7 days, so we're going to do it really quickly. All the rest have to be processed within a 30-day time frame. The SNAP case and procedural error rate. This is measuring the accuracy of the actual benefit that was given to the client, so the money that they received for SNAP, and we hit that with a 0%, which is great. And then we have the SNAP payment error rate, and we hit that. It had to be under 5.9, and we hit that at 4.2. We had 1 month in the middle of the year where we had those 90 that were off, likely due to an operational change that we were just delayed in hitting, but nonetheless, we still met the goal. And then just a general overview of economic security. Some of the other things that aren't measured, HIC-PUF measures all of the Medicaid statistics, not CDHS. So this is just informational. The calls outgoing and the calls incoming, I really wanted to highlight because our front desk, those 2 wonderful administrative assistants do a whole lot of triage for this entire building and the Department of Social Services. They made 11,901 outgoing calls last year, and they took in 20,000 calls receiving them. So they are busy. They are doing tons of stuff up front. We, as a department, issued 1,629 EBT cards on site. Changes that were reported to the front desk, that means a change has to be worked in any of our economic security, so any one of those 4 programs. We had 2,328 changes submitted to our front desk, and we had 3,144 changes submitted through Peak. So you pull those off, and they still have to be worked by a technician. We had 4,004 Medicaid redeterminations. We had 1,848 medical assistance applications. We had 49 CCAP redeterminations, 139 CCAP applications. We had 1,072 SNAP applications and 2,632 redeterminations for SNAP throughout last year. And our technicians up at that front had 4,633 appointments last year. So lots of work. Our economic security team is led by Natalie Sackett, Lisa Harris, and Rachel Segura, doing tons of work across the board. This year we ranked 18th In the state, we were bumped up. We moved up on that poll, and it's really hard the bigger you are to meet those goals, to be timely, to do everything that's required, and not have high error rates. Distinguished performers must meet goals at least 75% of the time throughout the calendar year. In 2024, we met at 82.5% of the time. In 23 and 22, we were at 77%. So it's a big deal. I would add that we talked about the operational memos. Last year, an operational memo is a new set of what we have to do. It's an adjustment to operations. And we get those when new rules are in place, different things are shifting based on legislation. So then we as a department receive those memos and we have to put them into practice. And I mention it because each of these programs has hundreds of pages of rules. And last year we had 129 operational memos issued. 129. That's over 10 memos a month in which we have to change a practice or shift it in order to meet the state requirements. And so you're talking about folks that are learning constantly, shifting practices constantly, they're flexible, and they're doing it all, they're doing it with smiles, and they're doing it really well. I think statistics are one side of the thing, right? We know that meeting these goals means we're effectively serving people timely, but that's one side to the backside of all of the other stuff that the department does and all of its employees. And so I am super proud of them. It's incredible work, and just wanted to take a moment to honor them. And everybody who's from the department, if you want to stand up and we could say, "Rah!"
Rah!
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Pretty impressive numbers.
Actually, I do have a few questions though. And
Ask
since
'em.
they're all in here, well, who comes up with the goals or the targets?
The state.
Is that the state?
That's the state.
So specifically with fathers' involvement at 35%?
Yes,
Really? 35%? That's the goal?
that's the
Why
goal.
is that not higher?
Well, I think there's lots of reasons for that. And I would say generally, when we are involved in child welfare with families, generally fathers haven't been involved or are missing in action, and so they have to be located. And so that's why it was really a priority for the state, for each county to really try hard to locate those absent parents, get them involved, make sure we're meeting with them monthly, because they also have a high rate of disengagement. They'll come in engaged and then not stay engaged. So
Gotcha. So the state does that again, which is part of the shifting, which is what we deal with every January through May.
yes.
Okay.
And you'll see for 2025, some of our CDC stat measures have already shifted and changed. And so we can talk about that next year, but they do shift and change them.
So the recouped money, does it go back to Montezuma County, that 180,000?
Well,
Or
that's
does
kind
that
of a
go
trick.
back
It's a
to the state and then reallocated, or how does that pot work?
Yes. So for instance, if it's a SNAP benefit, it's just withheld from their benefits until it's paid off. And so we never see that as a department or as a state, the feds would, right? But that 50, 30, 20 contribution would be less. So any of those programs where you're receiving a cash benefit on that card, they're usually recouped while you're on the benefit. Now, some of them where they've closed out and maybe it's a TANF fraud case and so they've been receiving cash assistance, yes, we will get those back in, and they just get reallocated into the fraud program.
Okay, sounds good. And then I guess I'll ask you all, 18th in the state, that's pretty dang good out of 64 counties. That's a damn good record. Proud of you all. But what's your goal for next year?
17th, 16th?
Proud of you all. That's
Keep on keeping on.
That's pretty. That's pretty admirable. 18th in the state. That's a dang good job, guys. I appreciate it.
And as a medium county, I mean, you can look at some of the counties. I think Conejos was number 1 at 100% across the board.
Yeah,
But they're seeing very, very, very small numbers.
Yeah.
They might have 30 child welfare referrals in a year. We're talking about a substantially different perspective from a medium county when we're seeing and screening 577 child welfare referrals alone.
No, like I said, I think it's extremely admirable. That's, knowing the other counties larger and or smaller, that's pretty dang good, so.
Yeah.
I do appreciate
How
it.
do
That was
we-
the
how
only
do we
question that
compare
I
it
had.
with Dolores County? I mean, Dolores is
They're
pretty,
not.
Dolores is
small.
pretty small.
Yeah.
And if you even think about it, like allocations are based on population, child population, poverty. Dolores County has a 262,000 child welfare allocation. Montezuma County has a $2 million child
Yeah.
welfare allocation. And so it is substantially different. They have, I think, 2 technicians that do all programs in economic security. They have 2 child welfare caseworkers. And I think they have somebody at the front desk, so staff of 5. Which is vastly different than our team, which is a
Right.
staff of 46. Yeah.
Well, congratulations. If you'd all like to come up here, and Vicky, you'll get a snapshot of them.
yeah.
You can send that to the Journal. Come on up. 18th in the state's pretty, pretty admirable. Short ones in the back?
Short ones in the back.
I don't think so.
Short ones get to come up here.
Yeah.
No problem.
Do we need to squish in?
Yes. Good side, good side.
Like I am.
Good job.
That's it. Again, thank you all. Appreciate the work that you do. Like I said, 18th in the state is a pretty dang good record, so thank you all again. Okay. Looks like we have Cortez, Mancos, and Dolores school districts here. Come on down, grab a mic. We have a discussion for our SRS funding allocations, or the dismal amount that we did receive.
Thank you, Travis.
All right, I'll let you start at this end. Introduce yourself and which school district you represent.
Good morning to everyone. My name is Eddie Ramirez. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Montezuma Cortez School District.
Got it.
There you go.
I'm Elisa Reed, Superintendent, Dolores School District.
James Hughes. I'm the secondary principal at the Mancos School District. Superintendent couldn't be here today. Apologizes.
Okay, very good. Well, per the statute, the SRS funding that we get every year, obviously, 25% is allocated to road and bridge, 25% is allocated to schools. So we have to have this conversation every year, and then 50% is discretionary to the commissioners. This authorization that we have currently in front of us was a 25% authorization. They did not give us 100%.
They didn't fund
But
it at 100%.
a couple years ago, you know, they told us it was going to go away specifically 100%. So I think you can see the trend where it's actually heading. So your 25% will be given to each school district. and those allocations, and I think that you have those, or is that the discussion that we
That-
want to have now?
That is the discussion, sir.
Because the 25% goes to the school districts. In the past, we've split it up per basically a student enrollment, so RE1 gets the most and probably RE6 probably gets the least. So hopefully you have had a discussion amongst yourselves, or we'll have that discussion now, but what are your thoughts?
Yes, sir. Montezuma Cortez School District is in favor in an equal 1/3 split between the districts involved for this school year.
Okay.
Dolores RE4A is in favor of a 1/3 split for this year.
Okay,
Same with Minkus.
okay.
You're making it too easy.
Well, that gives you guys a little bit more. Thank you, Montezuma Cortez, for helping out the other two. Although it's not going to be a lot of money this year. So that will be split 1/3. Sounds like the direction that would be given by the school districts. Now we need to talk about the 50% that's discretionary. Go ahead.
So can we split that too? 1/3?
I apologize, I was not prepared to talk about the 50%.
Okay,
Can we can there just be, can we talk about that?
absolutely.
Sure.
Okay.
This is an open conversation with you all because by statute, we have to have the conversation anyway.
Right.
Last year, we took the 50% because there were some road projects that we wanted to
Okay.
get completed. You guys all agreed to let us have that 50%, which was discretionary. We can do with it as long as it's the schools or road and bridge. So the 50% that's discretionary is the conversation now, so yes.
We were not prepared to discuss that, but we're open to input from the commissioners and the represented districts here today. How much of is the 50%?
The total allocation, this is all Title I, right, Travis? The 26,738.72.
So that'll leave about 17,827 left over. Take the 50% discretionary.
So, I mean, in my opinion, and I'm only one of three, so I'll give you my opinion to start with. Last year, we did have some road projects that we needed to get caught up on. I wouldn't have an issue giving the 50% to the school districts this year, splitting it equally at 1/3, just as you recommended for the 25%. We do have a road project that we're trying to get taken care of in the Dolores district, 25 and 184, but we'll be using impact fees for that, so it's not going to affect this at all. That's just my opinion.
I agree. I mean, it's,
Yeah, most years we have done that. Actually, that other 50%. It seems like we've done that more to the school than to the schools.
We've kind of went back and forth since
Yeah.
I've been here, and it kind of works. I wish this was a bigger authorization, but here again, the federal government controls this with how they get timber harvesting, all of their so on and so forth that they deal with. But are you guys okay with that? It's just giving you more. Is that split still okay? A third, a third, a third? So in other words, you're going to get 75% of the whole authorization split equally into thirds.
Montezuma Cortez School District here recommends a 1/3 split for the 50% as well.
Okay.
Dolores RE4A agrees with the 1/3 split.
Minkus also agrees.
Okay. Well, then is all we need is a,
We'll get the numbers put together and get it on the agenda for approval, not next week, but the following week.
okay. And then
Can I
we'll,
just ask a question?
sure.
This is only my second time doing this, and a year between, I forget. So did we if we missed an email, did we know beforehand if you were going to have this money? Or, I can't remember what happened last year. Did you just mention
So-
at that meeting that you were asking for the money? I don't know the process.
So the process is typically whenever they authorize it, then they will send us the money, which is this form right here, which is the breakdown. So we can send you this form also. But to answer your question, we usually send an email to you because we have to follow the statute. And the statute says that we have to have a conversation with you all to decide. Because like in the past, we did it, Montezuma Cortez got the most because obviously the largest school district. Today, you guys have agreed to do it in a different manner, which is fine. 5 years ago, there was a conversation that Mancus wanted to get it all, which that has to be a conversation that's agreed on in this room by everybody. So if you wanted to give all yours to Dolores, you could do that. It's just a matter of what the conversations are. So we typically will send out an email as soon as we get the authorization, and then that will schedule a time, which this authorization is late too. It's usually, I mean, we're in May, it's usually in April sometime.
Well, Travis did send an email. I just wasn't prepared to make a decision on the 50 that you mentioned, and so I didn't know. I don't think any of us were, and I must not have read the email well enough to know.
No, yeah, and that wasn't in the email because that's up to the commissioners, is a 50% discretionary. They could keep it for road projects if they wanted.
So that would just come up
It's
the
coming
day
up
that we're coming in.
In this meeting today, right?
Okay, that's what I
Right.
needed to
Which-
know.
Which is just an open conversation.
Okay.
And here again, this authorization is so small, that's why I recommended just give it all to the schools here. Maybe it'll help you do something. It won't even replace one sheriff's vehicle for us, so.
Well, it'll help.
I mean-
Thank you.
Not that everything doesn't help all of us, but we did keep last year, for road projects.
Okay, thank
So,
you.
All right. So basically, we will have 25% going to road and bridge, 75% going to the school districts, and it will be split equally 1/3. All right, we'll get it approved here in the next 2 weeks. All right, guys, thank you all.
Have a good summer.
Yeah. All right. I don't see it on the agenda.
It'll fall under old business, Commissioner.
Okay. Well then, come on down, Miss Jerry. Looks like we have something to report.
Yeah, before Jerry gets started, I did just want to make a little bit of a record. We had this on the agenda some weeks ago, and the board motioned to continue it to today's date. It's not on the agenda today. However, I think some kind of a decision needs to be made in the near future, is my understanding. Is that correct, Ms. Frisella?
Yeah, this has to be sent into the state by June 6th.
Okay. So I think in a perfect world, this would have been on the agenda as a specific agenda item. I think we can say with a straight face that we continued it to today at a prior proceeding, and under the clause at the bottom here, that we'll conduct further business as will come before the board. Given our circumstances, my advice is that this is probably the best we're going to do with this item. And it's not perfect compliance with the notice requirements, but I think that's where we find ourselves today.
Okay. Good. Good.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So we have 2 weeks ago, we represented a liquor license renewal for Eagle Cloud Trading Post and Liquor Store at 4321 South US Highway 160 in Cortez. They had a violation in 2024, so we postponed this for 2 weeks to give her a chance to bring in her letter and what she has done to prove that she has to adjust to what happened to their violation.
Okay. Very good.
My name's Cora Krell. I'm the manager at Eagle Claw happened to be the owner's daughter, sorry. So I wrote this is my letter to you guys, is that, I've talked to all the employees. I went to one of the liquor classes, or I don't remember what it was called, but me and my mom both went. And then I talked to all of the employees again and stressed, and I only have like a very small amount of employees. And I reminded them of, that if they look under 50 or so, because I'm 50, I don't think I look 50. So, people get carded. Not be afraid, because sometimes people are rude about it. And if they have trouble, to talk to me. I also installed an app on our register that anytime you scan an item, it pops up a window that says you have to put in their date of birth, so it triggers them to have to card them. So there should never be a mistake again. At least that's my hope. Oh, sorry. And that, yeah, that's, I guess, and I put up more postings to attention to for them to make sure that this is like everywhere in our little building, that they see on the bathroom door and the door to go outside, all that stuff, to remind them that this is very serious and to please pay attention and card people. Plus I put like this kind of stuff outside for the customers, and be ready to know that it is a liquor store you're coming to, so you should have your ID with you and ready. So in hopes that this never happens again. Oh, and then that if someone comes with an ID or without their ID, and we send them to a car that's full of people, that we won't sell to anyone else in that vehicle, because we can't ensure that they're not buying for that person, and they may be underage. So we won't sell to them either. That's a process we've been doing, but I just reiterated it so they all know not to, be scared to card people.
Okay. The class, did that come with like a certification or something, Jerry? I think
No,
the
we
last
just had
one.
to sign in.
It's just a class that they
Just
have
a Yeah.
to
class
take, and
they
that's
offer
through
for
the
free,
state.
And they have everybody sign in, and I got the list of where they did participate in that class.
Okay.
That her and her mom did show up for that class.
So all of the recommendations or requirements of that class, you've taken care of with
Yeah.
your
Just-
signage and postings?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then Noah was just out a couple of weeks ago. I don't remember what his title is.
He's the liquor license enforcement.
Yeah,
Oh.
I went through a building, and he said that he was happy with everything, so that's good.
He did a double checkup on it, so.
Questions, gentlemen?
No.
Okay. Okay.
I'm sorry that, that it took a minute. My mom kind of got misunderstood things. She's supposed to be retired. She meddled, and I was like, Mom, stay retired.
No communication between mom and daughter.
Right. So thank you for your time today. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it looks like you have completed everything, specifically that we had asked for from the previous applicants also. So as long as we're being consistent, I think that we're fine at this point in time, gentlemen.
I think so. I mean, I would so move that we approve the Eagle Claw renewal at 4321 Highway 160, having met all the additional requirements that we asked for.
Second.
Yay.
Oh, yeah.
So you have the
I guess I have to
actual
have them
signs.
sign or something.
I was thinking we probably need something to
Yeah,
sign.
you gotta sign it.
All right, so it's been moved and seconded to accept the retail liquor license renewal application for Eagle Claw Trading Post and Liquor Store located at 4321 US 160 Cortez, Colorado. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll make sure you get all that stuff done and
Yep,
keep
I'll
going
on
and
'em.
stay
They will.
strong.
Thank you again so much.
Thank you.
And every
Thank you.
class that the liquor license people have, I will get a list of all of the participants that goes into that and keep it with all their records to let them know that they have been participating in all the classes that the liquor enforcements have.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, now we'll jump down to Stephen for a report.
Commissioners, I don't have too much to report. I was on vacation last week. There were not any legal emergencies that, required me to really do anything terribly substantive, which was nice. I did keep up with my email throughout the week. So I'll have a busy week this week. I've got one hearing this afternoon. I've got 2 hearings tomorrow on different issues with social services. I'll be spending a lot of my time this week, I think, talking with Don Haley on the different issues we've got going on as relates to planning, as far as the developments that we're trying to propose, as far as updates to the land use code, things like that. But I don't know, that's probably about it, unless the board has any questions.
No, I don't have any. All right, Travis.
It was pretty busy, gentlemen. Sorry I didn't get my weekly updates to you, but it was busy. Biggest things that we dealt with, public health is going to start working with Dolores County. Their public health director is no longer there, so we're going to try to assist them in the interim, looking over their contract, and I think Stephen's got it, and so we'll try to work on it together. Talk to the city. We're also going to try to work with them as it relates to the medicinal psilocybin statute. Working on trying to get some contracts between the Dolores School District and the Sheriff's Office for their SRO. Haven't heard anything back yet, but we'll keep pushing on with that. And then another situation you guys have already been appraised of, and we'll be meeting with Stephen related to that situation and move forward.
All right, thank you, Travis. Ms. Purcell, do you have anything?
Nothing, just wanted to thank you guys for helping us get that taken care of. That liquor license had to be in Denver by the 6th and mailed, so that's why we wanted to.
6th of May?
June.
6th of June.
Okay.
6th of June, yeah, we were like,
we missed
we
something.
missed that target.
Oops.
Oops. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you, Kim. Commissioner Copeland for.
I don't have much to report this week. Good weekend. Grandkids home, so had a good time over the weekend. Most of the rivers and the water have actually come up finally, and in Memphis the river went from 20 priority to 71 the next day because it came up so much.
That's a lot.
They put it back up to 71 so that the lake would actually be in priority too, but it changed a lot. It could change back the other way just about as fast. So it's kind of hard to tell what it's going to do, but actually when you're up on the mountain and looking back into Echo Basin and in that country, there's actually quite a bit of snow back up high still, so it may run for a while. Couple weeks maybe, so see what happens.
Okay.
Yes, had a pretty quiet weekend like everybody else, except Travis, he's busy. But I did attend the Veterans or Memorial Day, I guess you'd call it a ceremony at the Legion yesterday morning. They put on a good show and a good breakfast and honored some veterans. So appreciate what they've done, and also have city council tonight, and that's about it.
All right. Well, again, like Commissioner Lindsay just said, I want to thank yesterday, Memorial Day, for the veterans that we have here in this community, and specifically everywhere else. I think that's something that we need to do to make sure that we remember all of those men and women. For me, I was in at NACO conference last week. A lot of conversation over these authorizations for SRS and PILT as it pertains to the western states. Here again, I think the PILT or the SRS authorization is good until 27. We just don't know what those amounts truly are. Obviously, you see what we got this year, but I think they're going to continue to trend down until they absolutely go away, probably in 2028. Built Conversation was another one, a big one out there that we all advocated for. You know, and I don't think that most people really understand that when 72.5%, almost 73% of your community is public lands or federal lands, and we receive nothing off of that, that we're, you know, we continue to be decreased, and then with the state in their last two special sessions, funding and then inflationary costs, it just makes it hard to run a county. And then look at all of the property that's not taxed also. You know, we don't tax schools, we don't tax churches, we don't tax a lot of things that we have in this county, so we run on sometimes some pretty thin straws. But anyway, great conversations had out there. And the next conversations I'm sure you guys are going to have next week when you go to the conference for CCI. And that is all that I have to report. And with that, we've come to the end of our meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn this May 27th, 2025 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all.